Well, let's talk about mentors, right? Like the reason why I built this business and the podcast, and it's always been constant mentorship. Do you have any mentors that have helped you get to where you are?
You know, I didn't. I've been asked that, and I was kind of in shock because I preach mentorship left and right, and no one had asked me that, and I was just like, I can't think of one actual human being that was a mentor. I don't know where the motivation came from. But as I got motivated, of course, I started reading books and watching videos, and Tony Robbins was a big influence on me, and Brian Tracy was a big influence.
Yeah.
And, I read books by like John Maxwell and just even real estate books, Rolf DeRose and
Mm-hmm.
Gary Keller. But in person, I didn't have a lot. Like now I'm really close with like Greg Reed, and
Yeah.
I'm intertwined in his circle. So I got friends like Greg and Nick Halleck and Brian Sidorsky, who's, a billionaire real
Yep.
estate guy. And so a lot of these people I kind of look at as, but we're also kind of mentors for each other. So a lot
Yeah,
of
the
them
mastermind principle.
yeah, a lot of them who are crushing it in this area. I'm crushing it in something over here that, from they'll ask me for advice on for
Yeah.
different things. So we're kind of like, yeah, mentors to each other or like masterminds. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like maybe if I did have that mentor, I would have excelled a lot faster.
Well, it's funny that you brought up reading because we had a couple guests that have talked about like how reading is so important. But do you know who Freeway Rick Ross is? The
Yeah.
drug dealer.
Yeah, the original Rick Ross.
Yes,
the real Rick Ross,
the real
who
Freeway
tried
Rick
to
Ross.
sell
Yeah,
who tried to sue the rapper Rick Ross, and he
Yeah.
lost that in court.
yeah,
But yeah, Freeway Rick Ross. I mean, he understood like so much, and it was kind of like he had goals, and he put together a business. Now, of course, it was an illegal business; it was the drug trade.
yeah,
But what I respect about him is there wasn't as much violence in the trade. He was anti-violence.
Yeah.
He would not retaliate, even though he had the resources and the people to retaliate to where he could just annihilate other
yeah.
other drug gangs and people who would try to challenge him. He would just let that stuff go. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to sleep good at night. I'm trying to grow this business.
Well, he was sitting right here, like what, a month and a half ago. He was on the podcast, and one thing that he said about reading, when I asked him about mentorship, and he brought up reading, and he was like, man, because he didn't know how to read when he went into prison. He had no idea how to read. He taught himself how to read through like newspapers, and then eventually started reading books. And he was like, man, I better not tell anybody about this reading stuff. It's like a cheat code. He's like, it took this person that wrote this book 40 years to learn this, and I get to read it in like a
Exactly.
day. I mean, that's so you did have mentors just
Yeah, yeah.
in written form.
No, 100%. And that's the whole thing. Like, there's no excuses. Oh, there's no one in my neighborhood that's ever done what I want to do. Yeah, but there's probably someone in the world who has the skills, who took 40 years of perfected that skills and put it in a book to save you
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
And you can learn it all by reading that book. 100%.
Yeah, it's just crazy the way he broke it down. When he said that, I remember sitting like being like, oh my God, like why have I not spent, because I used to, when I was a kid, dude, I read so much. 2 books a day sometimes. I would just read for 8 hours in a day. Like I don't know, maybe phones and technology kind of took that away, but it's like, fuck, like.
Well, it's taken it away, but it's also enhanced it because you could throw an audiobook on,
Right.
which a lot of them you can find for free on YouTube, or at least a complete breakdown of the book on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I remember whenever I wanted to get one of my mentors, Brian Sidorsky, who he says every time he speaks, he talks about Think and Grow Rich and how he was exposed to it, and he failed 5th grade, and then it took him 3 years to graduate 12th grade.
Damn.
And so he's like, I don't know, 19 years old, 20 years old when he's graduating high school, right? So
Yeah.
they always told him he's a failure. He's going to be stupid. He's never going to amount to nothing, never going to have money. But he got exposed to the Think and Grow Rich practices, did the junior achievements, which is based on that. And he did well as a team leader. And that gave him the confidence. And then, now he's a billionaire. But he's always talking about how every time he reads Think and Grow Rich, he makes $1 million. And he's read it at least 500 times. And then people are like, oh, so you're worth 500 million? He's like, no, I'm worth a lot more than that, but I make at least $1 million every time I read the book. And so he kept talking to me about a different book, Maximum Achievement. And so I remember I just went on YouTube and they had the whole book kind of broken down into like a 45-minute breakdown of the highlights of the book. And I learned a lot just from listening to that YouTube video.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. If you like content like this, go to the description below. The full video should be there. And do not forget to like and subscribe. 97% of the people that watch this channel are unsubscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. It does a lot for the channel and it gives you more content like this. Have a good one.